Greetings, parish orphans and retrogrades. An update today on a question deeply vested in the cankerous heart of feminism in American life. The mom-shamed contestant, Sarah Beth Lieb, abruptly quits American Idol. Why did she do this? Because she was so-called mom-shamed. It's a stupid term, but what happened is, and I covered this last week, Katy Perry, if you know who that is, the filth bucket from Hollywood and a singer, made her feel stupid on live television or recorded television in front of all the world by telling her something true. Now, of course, Katy Perry has the wrong ultimate view of the binary. You have to choose either being a mom or you have to choose being a pop star. But she did have it correct, such as to mom shamer. Look, you have to either want to be a pop star or a mom. You can't have both. You can't do a decent job at both. Ultimately, good for Sarah Beth Lieb. She abruptly quits American Idol. She said, "My heart was just at home." And last week, Steph and I did a show responding to Lila Rose, who said, Katy Perry's wrong. Not just about whether or not being a pop star is better than being a mom. Obviously, Katy Perry's wrong there. But Lila Rose said that Katy Perry was wrong, such that Katy Perry, by saying you have to pick one or the other, was forcing upon Sarah Beth Lieb, the American Idol contestant, a false dichotomy. Well, it shakes out this way, Lila. Sarah Beth Lieb ultimately agreed with Katy Perry and with us here on Rules for Retrogrades. She did have to choose, and she chose her children. God bless her. This is the correct choice. Katy Perry would say it's the wrong choice, but a choice that was necessary, yes, it was. Everyone was right on that question, aside from Lila Rose and the fifth wave feminists like Lila Rose. So that's what today's show is going to be on. I'm going to bring you a little update on precisely what Mrs. Lieb said, how she characterized her decision to leave American Idol. And it's like, I don't really know what show business is. I don't really care. This isn't my main job. I'm paraphrasing, but we're going to get into the fixed wisdom which informed that decision, which must have informed that decision, because other people, even though they say things like what Lila Rose said, you know, you're not a loser for being a mom at home, by objecting, but you can be cool as well by being an American Idol as well as being a mom. That's protesting too much. It really makes it sound ultimately, I think correctly, like these people are just a bit shy of true north, just a bit shy of saying, yeah, it really is loserish to just be a mom at home. The reason you're not a loser isn't because being a mom at home isn't loserish, but rather because you can do cool stuff on the side, like being a pop star and have it all. And what a great vindication for this woman, for her children who won't lose a mother to being a pop star the way Kelly Clarkson's husband lost her recently. They divorced. Everyone divorces when they go and become a pop star. And many people are set on the road to divorce by the path of working women. So this is a celebratory follow-up show on the show that Steph and I did last week. By the way, Lila Rose, she wrote me in the middle of the show that we were doing last week saying, hey, Tim, we should chat. I think you misunderstood me. And I said very nicely back, cool, let's chat. I don't think I did misunderstand you, but I'd love to chat privately or publicly, something I always stipulate to public figures, privately or publicly. And then she ghosted me. And she's been, I think, quiet on this vindication of my view, not hers. So that's the show today. In the meanwhile, I want to remind you guys that a very thematically, contextually important sidebar is happening tomorrow. Sidebar to this very American feminism issue. And it's the Ask Your Husband Women's Summit. No such thing as halfway cooks. I can't say that without laughing. Hosted not by myself, but by Steph. It was put up on Locals last week. Exclusive first viewing for our Locals patrons. and Subscribestar. And it's going to be hung tomorrow at 9:30 Central Standard Time. We're going to play a commercial for that in a little bit. Do we have that ready to go? Yeah, let's play that commercial. I want you guys to know, as you're thinking of Lila Rose, Katy Perry, Sarah Beth Lieb, American Mothers, American Idol, the American Idol that is women working outside the home as wives and mothers. I want you to think that there is still one true, sensible Catholic position on this, and it begins with the rejection of the false doctrine of mutual submission.
He ain't though. But she's got the electric motor, and it's made it possible to live rich even if she ain't. If you ask me, this motor age has come just in time.
As mutual submission, number one, this is a disorder in the marriage. In Genesis chapter 3 with Eve, she listened to the serpent, and Adam's mistake was to allow her to take charge.
What mutual submission does is it leaves a home rudderless. It eventually leads to acedia because it blurs the lines of who shoulders the burden. And then that eventually leads to a power struggle.
And there'll be a commercial on, well, it's like the bumbling, stupid husband is in there fumbling over the dishes, and the wife's just standing there, like, giving him directions. And I'm always like, honey, then you take it over. What are we doing? This is so ridiculous. This notion that, like, the smarter wife is, like, helping this husband who's, like, fumbling over the dishes. Like, yeah, you know what the problem is? That she wasn't originally doing the dishes.
Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also should wives submit to their husbands in everything. In what world of Catholicism that Christ submits to the church? It doesn't.
What does realistic submission to your husband look like in your household?
I think the first and biggest one is that he has final say.
It's not about changing your husband, it's about changing yourself.
Amen.
So there you have it. God save the patriarchy. The people that watched this video as a matter of first impression, locals and friends who we gave the Ask Your Husband Women's Summit to, who've already seen it, just said, I've never seen 7 beautiful wives and mothers talk this way. They say yes means yes. They admit no means no. Submission means submission. If you tell a kid to stack 2 blocks together, one has to be on top, one is on bottom, one submits. So, as simple as that is, that wives are called to submit to their husbands in all things, as the church submits to Christ, should be really basic for Catholics. But you, parish orphans, have been taught a false doctrine because you, parish orphans, have been propagandized with the notion that wives should be out and about in society at large, in the workplace, in the commercial place, doing business, producers everywhere, consumers everywhere. It's a lie. It's a lie directly from Satan. It is a huge constituent part of the original sin, and you've bought into it. And I know that most of my audience is trads. A lot of you go to the Novus Ordo. This is not a Catholic, Protestant, trad, Novus Ordo issue. 99% of all of the Christians I've ever met have bought into this lie. And that's why it's so shocking to hear 7 women talking honestly about a really basic truth that's all over the place in the Bible. And that's why it's also shocking when something like this happens, that the mom-shamed American Idol contestant, Sarah Beth Lieb, abruptly quits American Idol and just says, you know, I don't need this. I don't need this. It's not my job. My job is to be my mom to 3 little kids. I was getting support from all the 5th wave feminists, like Lila Rose, the Christian feminists who claim that the lights can be off and on at the same time. They can't. She was getting ridicule from all the 3rd and 4th wave feminists who hated the fact that she even had 3 kids, those like Katy Perry. She's criticized by the 3rd and 4th wave feminists, cheered on by the 5th wave feminists like Lila Rose, who wanted her to evidently stay in the workplace. And basically only heard it here on Rules for Retrogrades that, no, we're cheering for her, but we're cheering for her to stay home. That was something you uniquely heard here. And eventually she said, you know what? That is the right position, irrespective of where she heard it, where it landed on her conscience. And we're just so happy that it did. So Sarah Beth Lieb has been one of the most talked about contestants on American Idol so far this season. This is an article written by Ree Hines. But as of Sunday night's Hollywood Week episode, she's a contestant no more. And she didn't leave the show the way most vocal hopefuls do. No judge sent her packing. No one voted her out. Lieb, who earned sympathy from her viewers after allegedly being mom-shamed by panelist Katy Perry during her audition, allegedly, simply chose to walk away from the big opportunity. Exactly. Simply chose to walk away from the opportunity is the better way to phrase that. Lieb's Hollywood experience started out with high praise from famed former Idol contender Clay Aiken. Funny little guy. He told the 25-year-old mother of three that he'd listened to her audition performances and found her voice to be infectiously lovely. However, when she sang a cappella for him, he worried she was losing her confidence. Sang a cappella for him, she worried she was losing her confidence. Okay. There's Clay Aiken there, wearing sneakers just like a man would. After Aiken left her with his take on the classic fake it to make it advice, Lieb spoke about feeling off amid the competition. Perfect, you should feel off. All of these devils are trying to bedevil you, Sarah Beth Lieb, and you figured it out in real time, maybe a little bit behind real time, but good for you. That's what devils do. They try to bedevil you. They try to separate you and those three precious kids that you were waving to on some video conference the first time everyone got to know you, Sarah Beth. Yes, of course you're sad. You're away from your kids. Now you got liars that are, and Catholic, Christian ones, that will tell you you shouldn't be sad. They'll be good until you're home. No, kids need their mommy. They don't need their daddy in the way they need their mommy. They don't need their mommy in the way they need their daddy, but presence, omnipresence for young children, and not just babies, kids. Omnipresence all the time is needed from a mom. You can't do that and have a job, even if it's not one as whorish as becoming a pop star, right? That's extra whorish. You're literally trading tricks on the side. But even if you work as some boring job, right? You're an accountant. You're still being traded out. Your children are still on the raw end of the deal. I don't even really know what show business is, she said. And then I came here and it was just a little taste of it. I've been a mom since I was 18. I've been married since I was 18. So I don't feel like I fit the mold. I'm trying to figure this all out. I don't know. Well, you did figure it out. So good for you. Good for you. Noting that it was hard to be away from her trio of children, Lieb declared she planned to try her best. She did just that as she took the stage to belt out a rendition of the Police's 1979 hit Roxanne that showed off her full range. The judges applauded, her fellow competitors gave her a standing ovation, and then Lieb shocked them all. What a great trick. This opportunity is really rad. But this is actually going to be my last performance because my heart's at home. Her voice is a little shaky. So I'm going to get home to my babies. They kind of need me. Thank you. What a stellar shining example she could become. She could become a hero by doing this, not by whoring herself out as some American Idol. She could still sing beautifully. She doesn't need to sing professionally or even competitively to sing beautifully. If you have a beautiful voice, you have a beautiful voice. Lila Rose was like, you have a beautiful voice, you have to use it. It was implied in the commercial marketplace. That's nonsense. That is crony capitalist drivel, right? I defend free markets here all the time. True ones, where the person has the right to say, no thanks, thanks but no thanks, like Miss Lieb just did, Mrs. Lieb. While While judges Lionel Richie and Luke Bryan wondered if she was really leaving, Perry countered, "No, we're going to figure this out." And that was just the first way she showed a passion for keeping Lieb in the competition. She figured it out. She doesn't need you. I wonder what Lila Rose would say about this. She knew you can't do both. You tried to tell her she could have her cake, Lila, and eat it too. And guess what? That's something you can't do. If you have your cake, that means it's there in front of you. You didn't eat it. You have it for later. If you eat it, then you can't have it. If you have it, if you want to have it, you can't eat it. Same thing with children. Same thing with being married as a woman. You can't be a good mom wife and be away from your life. It's just that simple. The Bible says it. The popes say it. Roman Catechism says it. Lila's Catholic. She's supposed to care about these things, but she doesn't. She doesn't. And neither do any of the other fifth wave Christian feminists. Viewers were likely surprised to see Perry become such an advocate for Lieb after the two first met during audition rounds. And that's when Perry, after learning the young singer had multiple kids, got up and acted as if she might pass out on the table before her. "If Katy lays on the table, I'm going to pass out," Lieb joked. Perry responded by saying, "Honey, you've been laying on the table too much." The irony, right? That sparked backlash from fans on social media, and on March 8th, it inspired Lieb to take to TikTok to talk about it, where she said Perry's comment wasn't super kind. Come on, you go at her harder. If Katy Perry had called a black guy a racial slur, I'm sure you wouldn't have said it wasn't super kind, right? You would have had the knives out, Mrs. Lieb. Why? That's not relevant to you. I mean, that's fine to say, well, that's a not super kind comment. It's accurate. But your knife is out to defend someone else. Why not defend yourself with the fire that you would if someone made a mean or bad racist remark? You see what I'm saying? People have been brainwashed to defending the interests of others more fierily, more passionately than they would defend their own interest or their own demographic. And that's strange. It's good to defend other people. I'm not saying it's not. But it's odd that I have substantial certitude, as it's called in the law, that if Katy Perry had said some mean thing about transgendered Micronesian people, that you would come with knives out against her, knives drawn. And you wouldn't even do that. All you said is it wasn't super kind. It was embarrassing to have that on TV. Well, you don't have to explain this. What she was doing was trying to embarrass you in front of a quarter of the world or something. We get it. You don't have to. Why are you explaining? It was embarrassing to have that on TV and it was hurtful and that's that. She said in the short clip, yeah, we know it is that. When something's that's that, you don't have to explain it. It was super mean. Call her a name, right? The way you would have if someone said something transphobic or racist phobic or whatever they call it. But I did want to take this opportunity to just say that I think women supporting women is so cool. And I think mom shaming is super lame. I'm only guessing what the definition of mom shaming is. I'm not sure if this is in, any etymology I could buy at Barnes & Noble, but I guess I can figure it out. Yeah, it's lame to not support women who do their job, which is to be in the home place, being good wives. Before mothers, wives, right? That's what we talk about, stay-at-home wives a lot, not stay-at-home moms, because even this punts a bit on the real question. The Christian teaching is wives belong at home. Wives belong at home. Not just when they become wives who are mothers, but wives. Keep the home, keep a garden, do baking, cooking, sewing, laundry. Make it beautiful. Own it. It's yours. But on the April the 2nd episode, Perry seemed like Lieb's biggest supporter. Well, we get what's going on. Sarah Beth, I know life is scary, the fireworks singer said. I don't know what that means. I guess that's Katy Perry. I also know that it's easier to walk away than to be rejected. So she's trying to shame her now. This is not advocacy. I can't believe I just said advocacy like some. I mean, this isn't advocacy, though. She's trying to shame her more. She's trying to say you're only leaving because you're afraid. No, that's not what it is. Afraid of what? It doesn't take much courage. She's just saying, look, I have a good voice. I don't need to use it like a whore, like you, Katy Perry. She has a better voice than Katy Perry, by the way. But everything doesn't reduce to crass economic commercial relations, folks. You didn't think you'd hear that from me, right? I defend markets. Every skill you have does not have to be quantified in fiduciary terms. Perry then related to her as a mother and continued to try to convince her to stay, adding, remember that self-love is just as big as motherly love. Don't leave the competition. This sounds like something that like Jem Finch would say. Sounds like Jem Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird. It's just as big as Atticus done gonna wear you out, Scout. Like, what? I don't know what any of that means. I don't know what self-love is. I don't know how big it is. But it sounds like she's saying just as important as motherly love. And not in the sense she means it. Lieb had already made up her mind, though. Alas, telling a producer, I feel like I'm not going to win the show anyway, so I might as well go home. So she did. After her exit aired, Lieb shared another TikTok clip, one that saw her refer to her American Idol experience as mind-blowing and humbling. Aren't those two things opposite? Whatever. And something that convinced her how badly I want to do music. That's a little confusing. I don't know what that means. Again, you're back to Katy Perry. Now we've been making fun of Katy Perry where she's wrong. But we're back to where Katy Perry's right. If you wanted to do music, trade in your husband, trade in your kids, right? Your husband can get a new wife. I'm not advocating this, by the way. He can get a new wife that'll stay there and actually be a mother to the kids, even though she's not biologically related to them. And you can go do what they do in Hollywood. Go to the casting couch for music and movies. If that's what you want to do, if you mean economically, why didn't you stay there? Bid farewell to the husband and the kids, like Kelly Clarkson. I'm not sure if she had kids. She looks pregnant. Is she? I'm not sure. But Kelly Clarkson bid adieu to her family of at least one. Do that way. Just be clear about what you're saying. And of course, Lila Rose has not commented on this, and she hasn't returned in any meaningful way to the topic, and she never got back to us. Listen to her. I found some more openly feminist stuff that Lila had put out. Listen to this one.
Nothing to correct the oppression and inequality that women in these situations face. It perpetuates it. Abortion is an excuse for men, businesses, and communities to neglect, exploit, and discriminate against women. Rather than support the mother and her child, they forcibly divide the two, pressuring the mother to have her child killed. Abortion is the ultimate manifestation of the oppression of women, and women and children cannot be liberated in society until abortion is unthinkable. Telling women they must have the ability to take the lives of their children in order to achieve fulfillment is not empowering. True feminism seeks to promote all aspects of who a woman is, in her education, in her vocation, in her marriage, and in her motherhood. For it is that commitment to a holistic view of women and children in all of their personhood that will truly set us free.
I'll close on this. Lila uses a couple little tricks. One, she's blaming men for abortion. Every woman legally has to be the one to choose an abortion. A man cannot make a woman get an abortion. Okay, so this is just a lie. Blame women for abortion. Number two, she said abortion is bad because it separates a mother from her kids. Steph was going crazy as she said this. So do careers. Abortions and careers do the same thing. They separate a mother and her kids.
For selfish reasons.
For selfish reasons. Career and abortion each separate a mother from her kids. The third trick that Lila used linguistically is she said women's education, women's family, women's vocation. She mentioned family, which is the vocation of lay women. So all she means is career. She purposely didn't want to use that C word, but she's calling career vocation. I addressed that in Catholic Republic. It's a trick the feminists use. It's a trick the Calvinists in America started using to give us bad capitalism. Making a buck does not justify your existence to God or your existence in heaven. It's not your vocation. Your vocation, ladies, take it from Sarah Beth Lieb, is at home with your husband and kids if you have them. At home with your husband, keeping the home, making the house a home. God bless Sarah Beth Lieb. I hope she has zero regrets. She's got a great voice. Not everything has to be quantified economically. God bless you all. Tune in tomorrow to the Women's Summit on this channel. It's going to blow up the internet. It's 9:30 Central Standard Time. We're going to be in the chat. God bless.